Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the work of artist Mark Saltz. And his process? Well, it's a total paradox. To create his art, he first has to destroy it. So let's explore how you reveal a feeling by, undoing it.
Let's kick things off with the artist's own words, because this single idea is the key to everything that follows. Saltz says these paintings are referential to specific psychological states of being. So, what does that even mean? How do you paint a psychological state?
All right, first up, painting a feeling. We're going to get into the why behind all of this.
Okay, so think about it like this. He's not trying to paint a picture of a landscape, a field before a storm. He's trying to paint the feeling of being in that field at that exact moment. You know that heavy electric feeling in the air, the weird light, the mood? That's what he's trying to capture on the canvas.
And the scale of these paintings is a huge part of this. We're not talking about small, little pictures you hang on a wall. No, these things are often life-size. They're big enough that they're meant to feel immersive, like you could literally step right inside. The idea is for the painting to change the feeling of the whole space you're in, which, of course, brings us to the big question, right? If you want to paint something as abstract as a feeling, how do you actually do that? How do you make that happen with, paint and a canvas? Well, the answer leads to this really fascinating and super physical process.
Okay, so let's talk about the physical act of painting here. This whole idea of creation through destruction. His technique is this constant battle, this push and pull between adding paint and then taking it away. It's like this dance between building something up and then immediately tearing it down to see what's hiding underneath. And look, this process is not gentle, it's not linear, it's cyclical and honestly kind of aggressive. First, he'll apply layers and layers of paint with different thicknesses, using everything from brushes to spackle knives. But then comes the really wild part, the destruction. He'll scrape huge sections of it right back down to the bare canvas. And get this, he even uses a power sander on the paint, grinding away at the layers to see what gets revealed. It's all about discovering these new, unexpected relationships between the colors and marks that were buried.
So what this really means is that the finished painting isn't planned out from the start, it's discovered. He's not just executing some blueprint he had in his head. It's more like an excavation. It's as if the painting itself tells him what it's supposed to be, but only after huge parts of it are wiped away. And in a way, it's a perfect metaphor, isn't it? The physical act totally mirrors the psychological one. You have to strip away all the surface layers to get to the real, raw core of a feeling. The art is literally found in the process of undoing.
So, moving on to his career, a career in color, spanning 5 decades of dedication. You have to wonder, right? How does a process that's so intense, so physically demanding, sustain a career for that long? It's pretty amazing. When you look at his history, it's more than a resume. It's a story of just incredible persistence.
I mean, just look at this timeline. His consistency is just remarkable. We're talking solo shows decade after decade, from the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, right into the 2010s. To keep that up, especially in the super competitive New York art world, that's a massive testament to the power of his work and his vision. And it wasn't just gallery shows. That dedication got some major recognition. I'm talking about grants from the National Endowment for the Arts and the Pollock-Krasner Foundation. And look, for an artist, that's a huge deal. These are some of the most prestigious awards you can get in the U.S. It's a massive stamp of approval, and it provides that crucial support from the very top of the art world.
All right, so where does all this lead? Let's talk about the legacy. What happens beyond the canvas? Because the impact here, it goes way beyond just a studio or a gallery show. His work has really found a permanent home in our culture, in museums, and even in classrooms. And here's the proof. His work is in the permanent collections of places like the Brooklyn Museum, the New York Public Library. I mean, these are major institutions. When a painting gets into a collection like that, it's not just a sale. It means it's being preserved for everyone, forever. It becomes a part of our shared cultural record. It guarantees that these psychological states he captured now have a solid place in art history.
And it doesn't stop with his own art. He's also had this whole other huge impact as a teacher. For over 30 years, since 1985, he's been an associate professor at top-tier schools like Parsons and CUNY. Think about that. dedicating decades to teaching your craft, to shaping and inspiring the artists who come next. That's a serious legacy in itself.
So when you boil it all down, the story of Mark Saltz's art really comes back to this one powerful idea. Art that isn't just made, but revealed. It's this fantastic reminder that creation isn't always about adding more stuff. Sometimes the most creative act is having the courage to take things away, to scrape back the layers and reveal the truth that was hiding there all along.
And that really leaves us with one final thought, one that connects his whole artistic mission right back to us. If an artist like Mark Saltz could capture one of your own psychological states of being, what would it be? You know that feeling of a perfect summer night? Or the quiet calm of a Sunday morning? What feeling would you want to see revealed on a canvas?